Back in the book segment tonight, our pal Jon Stewart really pounding CNN over its terror bombing coverage.
While all the other networks chose to have what you call it there, an anchor in the studio that kept the chaotic coverage from going adrift, CNN went with more of your Sandlot football. Everyone go long! Forcing their reporters to let the control room know when they were open for an on-camera pass.
Guys, you got to come to us. Listen, okay.
We also have
a huge caravan, a huge Jake, John.
But the up-to-the-minute coverage just kept coming.
A couple of cars are now beginning to move. You've got cars going straight. You've got cars peeling to the right. A number of the vehicles just pulled out. We hear one of the canine dogs barking. Interesting, that dog is barking. We can smell, there was something in the air. That's at least the third canine dog. They began barking very, very loudly. So they may be smelling what we thought we smelled.
Let me tell you a little something about canine dogs. I got one of them, and they bark a lot. It was a noble effort, and you know, keep going. It'll get better. Any final thoughts?
Being in Watertown right now, the streets are empty. It's eerie. It's as though a bomb had dropped somewhere.
You know how to react, Monica Crowley and Alan Combs. What this is all about, Combs, is that not only the reporters at CNN, but also on Fox News, had to cover hours and hours of nothingness.
Nothing's happening. They've got to fill time.
Right.
Maybe that's not the best way to do it, but what do you say?
Well, you know, I had to face this a couple of times last week myself, and what we did was book guests who knew about certain parts of the case. So when the hard news slowed down, we didn't have to go to the canine dogs. We could go to a human being. For example, on Friday night, I mean, nobody knew about when this terrorist was going to be caught. We knew he would be, but we didn't know what time. So I had Geraldo sitting here, God help me. But Geraldo knows a lot about the case. And so when there was a lull in the action, we go to Geraldo. We had Howie Carr up in Boston. Again, strong point of view guy. We go to him. We had a family spokesman for the poor 8-year-old who was killed, the little boy, and we could go to him. But CNN relied far too much on just being there. And the results were the results.
Yeah, very unfortunate for CNN. But look, it is a challenge because I think the cable news environment, Bill, lends itself to always, not just in an emergency like this, but always a sense of urgency. So you have news alerts, and whether you're covering an actual urgent situation like this or not, there's always sort of this injection of necessary energy. And sometimes you manufacture the energy, and I think we're all kind of guilty of doing this.
No, but it's just about filling the time.
But this is what I mean about filling the time as well. And there's a lot of pressure to always kind of be out there with something that's breaking, even when there's not anything breaking.
Next time, I want Combs to go out there.
Yeah, sure
okay,
you do.
Because
They
throw it, and people should understand this. And Stewart knows this as well. Stewart just saw a big opportunity to be funny, and it was funny. But they throw you out there for about 90 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you don't have anything but dogs barking and a couple of cars going by, that's a long 90.
So the reporters are not the star of the story, as you pointed out, and what you did Thursday and Friday night is you had other people here who are experts. The reporters going, you know, get me out. That's not where the story resides. And some people may think, I can be a big star now. This is going to make my career.
Yeah, but you know what? People will put up with a lot. I remember the John F. Kennedy Jr. story where the plane crashed into the Long Island Sound, and they stayed on the shot of the sound for like hours.
Yeah, I remember
hours.
That. Yeah, because you know what? When we're covering breaking news stories like this, we don't want to be the jerk that peels away and starts covering something
and then
else.
You miss something.
And then you miss something, and then you're the jerk.
So the poor reporters are sent out there with the, you know, and a lot of it's just BS. They don't know what to say.
You have to fill a lot of time. Alan and I both do talk radio. I think it's actually great training because if you have to fill 3 hours a day without
but you know, you have so many commercials. You can always go to that. And it's like 18
they're
now.
probably
You get
exorbitant
focused.
salary and
I
radio.
did
But it
talk
does
radio
tend to-
too. I know
Yes,
how to,
that's
you
exactly
know, whenever
right.
it got boring, we'll go to a commercial. Or,
But it does tend to focus the mind, and you get trained so that you're not
But the
filling with
viewers are there
canine
because
dogs.
it's anticipation. You know that something is going to
viewers
happen.
want to
at some
know,
point.
and you've got to be on it. But the other thing that was bad about the Boston coverage was there's so much speculation, and then and everybody knows, and the factor, no. And, you know, I mean, that is my big rule. If you don't know, don't say.
There is a lot of pressure, though, to do that, I think, in this
Right.
news environment, because
Right.
you have a proliferation of news sources. Everybody wants to be on the story that everybody
that
else
just
is covering.
angers the audience.
And they want to be the first one with it. And sometimes their news sourcing is not proper, not right, and it turns out to be embarrassing.
That's when the agendas come out. It's a right-wing terror group. The Nazis did it. All that
Here's
stuff.
another area to look at is that there's now competition with Twitter and the social media, which is so immediate that they feel they got to compete.
All right.